If you're a landowner in Ghana or you are contemplating buying a land in Ghana, I want to share with you 5 ways you can easily lose your land in Ghana. If you don't take care, your land can be gone forever. So this channel is dedicated to sharing with you a lot of educational values and things that are happening in Ghana. So if you haven't subscribed, please do well to subscribe to this channel. I've already shared a video on things to do when buying land in Ghana. So if you haven't seen it, check out here and then you'll see this full video. But today I want to share with you 5 ways that you can easily lose your land in Ghana. And these are very, very important and critical points. Number 1 is unregistered land. Failure to register your land in Ghana. So in Ghana, whenever you buy a land, you are supposed to immediately register it with the Lands Commission. The Lands Commission serves as a concurrent consent. That is the government backing you legally that the land actually belongs to you. Well, if you fail to register your land this way, it means that you have no backing of the government, which means that anybody at all can go and develop your land and you cannot contest it or challenge it legally or lay claims to it legally to your name. So it's very important that whenever you buy a fresh land, or even if you bought it from somebody else, you should make sure to go to the Lands Commission as soon as possible to register your land. So the second way you can lose your land in Ghana is failure to pay your ground rent. Now, what is a ground rent? Ground rent is peppercorn amount of money. That's a tiny amount of money you pay to stool lands for the enjoyment of the land. So it's an annual subscription you have to pay on your land. So this is why it's very, very important, because a lot of people do not know that after you have bought the land from either a family, a stool, or even if it's an assignment or from the government, you have to pay something we call ground rent, which is paid on an annual basis. So depending on the size of your plot or your land, you could pay between 50 cedis to maybe 1,000 or whatever that is stated in the indenture. So it is very important that you pay very much attention to the indenture and how much the Ebusapeni or the chief inserted in your indenture as the ground rent, because failure to pay it will means that the law gives the chief, the Ebusapeni or the government the authority to repossess your land or to take back the land if you do not pay it within a certain amount of years. So what I often encourage people is that you pay your ground rent maybe 10 years ahead of time, so that you avoid those easy things, so that you don't lose your land. The law requires you to regularly make payments of your ground rent. But where do you pay your ground rent? So if your land is stool or family land, you pay the ground rent to stool lands. Now, stool lands are usually located on the premises of Lands Commission. So if you go to the Lands Commission and ask for stool land, they will show you it's a separate entity from Lands Commission, but they are the people responsible for management of ground rents, and this money is somehow divided into some percentages. A portion is sent to the chiefs or the family, and then another portion is also sent to the district assembly within which the land is located. So it's very important that you pay your ground rent on an annual basis. The third reason you can easily lose your land is failure to develop your land within 3 years upon acquisition. Now, this is very, very important, because the law requires you that after you have acquired your land, your plot, it is important that within 3 years you develop your plot. If you have not developed your plot, it gives the family or the stool or the government the right to reclaim the land from you. So you may lose your land, you may lose the money you pay to them. They don't have to refund the money to you. So if you buy land in Ghana, within 3 years, you may have to make sure that you develop the land. Now, somebody may say, well, I do not have the money to develop the land within 3 years. So or build something on it. Well, what actually constitute development of land? Well, development of land means could range from just digging a foundation on land to just mounting fence wall on the land to yes, just any structure that is permanent that you can erect on the land is amount to developing the land. So you can just lay a foundation up to a certain level. In that respect, the law sees it as you developing the land. But if the land is untouched at all, it's just covered with grass and that's it, and nothing has been done on it, it is seen as undeveloped land. And the families, normally what they do is that after they've sold all their land and they want to find opportunities to resell some land. So what they do is that they go around their plot and see the ones that are not developed. So if your land is not developed within the 3 years they gave you the land, what they do is that they go to the court and do something we call re-entry, and the court will give them someone, they will show the court the proof and everything, and before you realize your land has been sold to someone else. And yes, you may have a title to the land, but since you have not redeveloped your land, they can re-enter and sell your land, and you might lose your land outrightly because of that. I know a couple of people who have lost their land through this, because mostly they are staying in Europe or America. They bought land in Ghana and they waited for several years before they came to develop. And by the time they came, their land is sold to someone else, and somebody may have already developed their land. They go to court and the court said, yes, within 3 years, it was stated in your indenture you were supposed to develop it and you didn't. So you lose your land. Unfortunate. Yeah. The fourth way you can lose your land in Ghana is when somebody lays an adverse claim to your land. Now, what is an adverse claim? An adverse claim situation arises when somebody has been on your land, developed your land, and stayed on your land. In law, we say possession. So when the person has possessed your land for a maximum period of up to 10 years without you serving the person the notice or warning, and the person has gone ahead to possess the land and developed it for up to 10 years. Now, the law says that the person can lay an adverse claim to the land and you can lose your land directly. So, for example, if you see somebody farming on your land without your notice, without your consent, and somehow it comes to your notice or you get to know, the law says that you have to serve the person a notice. You have to also take a court action against the person in order to reclaim your land within the first 10 years. So after 10 years, if you fail to do this, the law says that you cannot go back to the land and lay claim to it. The person becomes the owner of the land, and you cannot take action to eject the person. Now, the person can lay adverse claim to your land and possess your land as though it is his own. So watch out. If you have bought a land, you've registered it, and you see somebody farming on it or somebody doing any activity on the land, please take action and make sure that you inform the person to move or you take a court action against the person. Otherwise, in 10 years, you can lose your land. Now, the fifth way you can lose your land is through compulsory acquisition by the government. So the Constitution of Ghana gives the government of Ghana special right and special powers to compulsorily acquire lands in Ghana for the general good of the public. So, for example, let's say the government is constructing a project like road that passes through your land. The Constitution gives the states the power to compulsorily, against your will, acquire your lands just so that the government can use it for the general benefits of the entire state or the entire country. Now, what the Constitution says is that the government can compulsorily acquire your land, but he does not have to take it for free. You have to be duly compensated, and the value of the land needs to be assessed, and you should be paid the market value of the land as of today. Also, the government cannot use the land for any other purpose for which it was acquired. So for example, if the land was acquired to build a stadium, for example, the government cannot now say that, well, I'm now using the land to build houses or something like that. For if the government fails to stick to the original purpose, the law says you also have the right to reclaim your land back. So this is also another way that you can lose your land, when the government comes to you and compulsorily acquires your land, and probably any other land that are adjacent to yours. Okay, so this is all that we have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do well to subscribe to this channel, and there are many more videos that are coming up, and so let me know your comments, like and subscribe. Okay, so until then, see you later.